Released on June 14, 2002, it follows the Mystery Inkener gang, Fred, Daphne, Velma, Shaggy, and their talking Great Dane, 2 years after a bitter falling out disbanded the group as they are each separately lured to Spooky Island, a tropical resort where something is turning spring breakers into soulless shells of themselves. So, where did the cast of this movie end up? Freddie Prinze Jr. was born on March 8, 1976, in Los Angeles. His father, the comedian and actor Freddie Prinze, star of Chico and the Man, died by suicide on January 29, 1977, when Freddie Jr. was 10 months old. He was raised by his mother and grandmother in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He became a teenage heartthrob in the late 1990s. I Know What You Did Last Summer, She's All That, Summer Catch, a string of youth-oriented films that made him a household name and drew as many dismissals from critics as they did screaming fans. He initially turned down the role of Fred Jones, telling director Raja Gosnell he didn't want to disrespect the original cartoon. His wife talked him into it. The bleach they used on his hair for Fred's signature blonde look was so damaging that he had to shave his head when filming wrapped. After Scooby-Doo, Freddie Prinze Jr. appeared in Boston Legal, starred as a male nanny in the 200th episode of Friends, a role Tom Hanks turned down due to scheduling, and voiced Kanan Jarrus, a Jedi Knight in Star Wars Rebels 2014 to 2018, and The Rise of Skywalker 2019. He spent several years as a writer and producer for WWE. In 2014, he told an interviewer that Kiefer Sutherland, his 24 co-star, was the most unprofessional dude he'd ever worked with, appearing drunk on set. Sutherland's people denied it, and several co-stars contradicted the account. Prinze Jr. shrugged it off and kept moving. He published a cookbook, Back to the Kitchen, in 2016. He has been married to Sarah Michelle Gellar since April 1st, 2002. The two have been together for over 2 decades and have 2 children. I Know What You Did Last Summer, 2025, a sequel to the 1997 film that launched both their careers, brought them back to the franchise. He is 50 years old as of March 2026. Sarah Michelle Gellar was born on April 14, 1977, in New York City. Her parents divorced when she was 7. Of her father, who largely disappeared from her life, she has said, "Just because you donate sperm does not make you a father. I don't have a father." She was discovered by a talent agent in a restaurant at age 4. By 18, she had won a Daytime Emmy Award for her role as Kendall Hart on All My Children. By 20, she was Buffy Summers on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. 7 seasons, a Saturn Award, a Golden Globe nomination, and a generation of young women who grew up watching a girl be told she was the chosen one and believe it. She played Daphne Blake in Scooby-Doo, the damsel in distress who resents being the damsel in distress, and the film marked the first time in the franchise's history that Fred and Daphne were depicted as a romantic couple, which was not much of a stretch, given that she and Prinze Jr. had met on the set of I Know What You Did Last Summer in 1997, began dating in 2000, and married on April 1st, 2002, 2 months before the film was released. After Buffy ended in 2003, Sarah Michelle Gellar spent years navigating the particular challenge of being so completely associated with one character that every new role exists in its shadow. The Grudge, 2004, was a genuine hit. Cruel Intentions remains a defining film of her generation. She co-founded an e-commerce baking company called Foodsters in 2015 and published a cookbook in 2017. She starred in and executive produced Wolfpack 2023 and played a forensics chief in Dexter, Original Sin 2024 to 2025. She signed on as a main judge on the Netflix revival of Star Search in January 2026. A Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot, which she was set to star in and executive produce, was announced with considerable fanfare and then cancelled by Hulu in March 2026. She is 48 years old as of March 2026. Matthew Lillard was born on January 24, 1970, in Lansing, Michigan, and grew up in Tustin, California. He attended the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in Pasadena alongside a fellow student named Paul Rudd, then moved to New York to train at Circle in the Square. His early career was a collection of lovable chaos: Stu Macheron's Scream, 1996, SLC Punk, 1998, She's All That, 1999, alongside Freddie Prinze Jr., 13 Ghosts, 2001. By the time he was cast as Shaggy Rogers in Scooby-Doo, the role felt less like a casting decision and more like a correction of a category error that had existed for decades. Lillard is Shaggy. He has said as much himself, and the people who grew up watching him seem to agree. When Casey Kasem, who had voiced Shaggy since the original 1969 cartoon, retired from the role in 2009, Matthew Lillard was chosen to take over and has voiced the character in every animated series and direct-to-video film since. It has become its own quiet second career. He also co-founded a tabletop gaming company, Beetle and Grimm's, which produces premium premium editions of games like Dungeons & Dragons and has become a genuine business success. After years of smaller roles and character work, including The Descendants, 2011, with George Clooney, and Twin Peaks: The Return, 2017, he was cast as William Afton, the manipulative villain of Five Nights at Freddy's, 2023. The film earned $297 million worldwide, and The Hollywood Reporter declared him in his Renaissance era. He returned for the sequel in 2025, appeared in The Life of Chuck, 2025, and joined the MCU in Daredevil, Born Again, 2026. He also returned to the Scream franchise for its 7th installment in 2025. He is married to Heather Helm and has 3 children. He is 56 years old as of March 2026. If you're loving this look back at the Scooby-Doo cast, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more Where Are They Now content about your favorite classic films. Linda Cardellini was born on June 25, 1975, in Redwood City, California, the youngest of 4 children in a Catholic household. She was working at an ice cream shop and attending Loyola Marymount University when she got her first television role in 1996. Her breakthrough came with Freaks and Geeks, 1999 to 2000, Paul Feig and Judd Apatow's beloved NBC series about a Michigan high school in 1980, a show so beloved and so cancelled that its single season is still discussed 30 years later as one of the great injustices of television history. She played Velma Dinkley in Scooby-Doo, the brains of the operation, the one who actually figures everything out, the one everyone forgets to thank. She had to fight for the role against producers who wanted Velma to be played more cartoonishly, and she won. After Scooby-Doo, Linda Cardellini joined ER as nurse Samantha Taggart for 6 seasons, appeared in Brokeback Mountain, 2005, played Sylvia Rosen in Mad Men, played Laura Barton, Hawkeye's wife, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and earned a Primetime Emmy nomination for Netflix's Dead to Me, 2019 to 2022. Alongside Christina Applegate, she dated her Freaks and Geeks co-star Jason Segel for several years after the show's cancellation. She and her partner, Steven Rodriguez, have been engaged since June 2013 and have a daughter together. She was announced in March 2025 as the lead of Crystal Lake, the Peacock prequel series to the Friday the 13th franchise, playing Pamela Voorhees, Jason's mother. She is 50 years old as of March 2026. Rowan Atkinson was born on January 6, 1955, in Consett County, Durham, England. His father was a farmer. He earned a degree in electrical engineering from Newcastle University and a master's degree from Oxford, where he met writer Richard Curtis at the university's East Dramatic Society, a meeting that would produce Blackadder, among other things. He became, at the time, the youngest person to perform a solo show in the West End. He played Mondavarius, the eccentric owner of Spooky Island and the film's villain. And while the role asked little of him beyond delivering pompous exposition with perfect comic timing, he delivered it impeccably. He has appeared in more enduring comedic creations than almost any performer alive: Blackadder, Mr. Bean, Johnny English, Edmund in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, the voice of Zazu in The Lion King. Rowan Atkinson was appointed a CBE in 2013 for services to drama and charity. He is a celebrated car enthusiast who once crashed his rare McLaren F1, a car of which only 64 were ever made, not once, but twice, with the second crash in 2011 resulting in repairs reportedly costing nearly £1 million. In April 2025, he said on Good Morning Britain that a live-action return as Mr. Bean is something he thinks about occasionally but considers unlikely, while continuing to voice the character in the animated series. A 4th Johnny English film was announced in February 2024. He starred in Wonka 2023 as a corrupt inspector and appeared in Man vs. Baby 2025. He is 71 years old as of March 2026. Isla Fisher was born on February 3, 1976, in Muscat, Oman, where her Scottish father was working as a banker for the United Nations. Family moved back to Bathgate, Scotland, then relocated to Perth, Australia, when she was 6, where she grew up with 4 brothers, and describes her childhood as very outdoorsy. She came to prominence in Australia as Shannon Reed on the long-running soap opera Home and Away, 1994 to 1997, then made her American film debut as Mary Jane, Shaggy's love interest, in Scooby-Doo, a role she has said was one of her favorites because she had grown up watching the cartoon. It was the role that brought her to Hollywood. At a party in Sydney in 2001, she met a British comedian named Sacha Baron Cohen. They became engaged in 2004, and she converted to Judaism, taking the Hebrew name Ayala. They married in a Jewish ceremony in Paris on March 15, 2010. Wedding Crashers, 2005, made Isla Fisher a movie star. Confessions of a Shopaholic, 2009, The Great Gatsby, 2013, Now You See Me, 2013, and Nocturnal Animals, Animals, 2016, followed. She had a recurring role in Arrested Development and has starred in the Australian series Wolf Like Me since 2022. She is also a published author, 2 young adult novels, and a children's book series called Margin Charge. On April 5th, 2024, she and Baron Cohen announced they were divorcing, having separated at the end of 2023 after 13 years of marriage. The divorce was finalized in June 2025. She has 3 children. She returned to the Now You See Me franchise in Now You See Me, Now You Don't, 2025, and voiced a character in Dogman, 2025. She is 50 years old as of March 2026. Miguel A. Nunez Jr. was born on August 11, 1959, in New York City, to an African-American mother and a Dominican father, and was raised by his grandparents in Wilson, North Carolina. His mother, Betty Jean Newsom, was a songwriter who co-wrote It's a Man's World with James Brown, one of the defining soul recordings of the 1960s. Nunez has spoken about her throughout his career, calling her the person who shaped his values. She died on January 23, 2026, at age 86, just weeks before this video. He described her in his tribute as the hero of my life. He moved to Los Angeles after high school to pursue acting, spent 5 years unable to land a single role, and worked as a telemarketer for the LA Lakers while waiting for his break. It finally came with The Return of the Living Dead, 1985, then Tour of Duty, 3 full seasons as Private Marcus Taylor, then a string of collaborations with Eddie Murphy. In Scooby-Doo, he played the Voodoo Maestro, the flamboyant showman presiding over Spooky Island's rituals, a role built entirely around charisma and commitment to the bit. Miguel A. Nunez Jr. has worked consistently across 4 decades: Street Fighter, 1994, Life, 1999, with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, Juwanna Mann, 2002, the BET drama The Family Business, Nashville. He runs a charitable outreach program for the homeless in Los Angeles called Sparks of Hope through the Union Rescue Mission. He is 66 years old as of March 2026. Stephen Greaves was born on March 16, 1951, in Lordsworth, Warwickshire, England, and built his early career on British television before arriving in Australia in 1980 on what was supposed to be a family holiday. He was offered a role before the trip was over and never fully left. He spent the next 4 decades becoming one of the most prolific character actors in Australian television: Holiday Island, Waterloo Station, The Country Practice, Beastmaster, Home and Away, Water Rats, while also appearing in international productions including A Nightmare on Elm Street 5 The Dream Child, 1989, and Highlander 2 The Quickening, 1991. He played Ngutwana, the film's primary human villain, the scheming resort employee behind the soul-stealing conspiracy on Spooky Island, pulling strings behind the Voodoo Maestro's theatrics. He is also an accomplished stage actor, with West End credits including Camelot at Drury Lane and productions at the Royal Court. After Scooby-Doo, Stephen Greaves continued appearing in Australian television and film through the early 2000s, with his last confirmed screen credit in 2011. He has remained active in Brisbane theatre, playing leading roles as recently as April 2024 at the Ad Astra Theatre Company. He and his wife, Margita, whom he married in 1979, have 5 children and 3 grandchildren, and have owned a property in Tuscany, Italy since 2016. He is 75 years old as of March 2026. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest Where Are They Now? Videos exploring your favorite casts from the past.